Have you ever felt like no matter how much you give, no matter how hard you try, or how much you care, it's never enough for others to truly see your value? I know that feeling. It's like pouring all your energy into a bottomless pit, exhausting, discouraging, and heartbreaking. And I want to tell you something today. The problem isn't you, and the solution isn't about trying harder. There's actually a simple shift you can make that doesn't require confrontation or persuasion, but has the power to change everything for you. Let me share how you can rediscover your worth and finally show the world who you really are. The pain of being overlooked. I've been there. I know what it feels like to be overlooked. To be the person who gives and still feels invisible. It's a pain that feels like a quiet rejection, a subtle dismissal of everything you bring to the table. When someone I care about or even admire stops valuing me, I start to question myself. What did I do wrong? Am I not enough? Those doubts creep in and suddenly I feel small, invisible, and unimportant. But here's the truth I want to share with you. My value doesn't disappear because someone else fails to see it. A diamond doesn't lose its brilliance because it's in the dark. It simply waits for the right light to reveal it. And I've realized my value is not dependent on anyone's recognition. It's always there, whether they see it or not. The pain I feel when I'm undervalued, it's not because I'm not good enough. It's because they failed to see the worth I bring. But that's not my fault, and it's certainly not a reflection of who I am. I've learned that how others treat me often says more about them than it does about me. So how do I stop this cycle? How do I stop feeling overlooked and exhausted by chasing someone else's validation? The answer is simpler than you might think. It's all about shifting my focus back to myself. I need to step back and start investing in my own growth, happiness, and self-respect. I need to stop chasing their approval and start showing myself that I'm enough. And here's what I found. When I stop chasing others, when I stop giving so much of my energy to someone else, something incredible happens. People can't help but notice the change. It's like a light begins to shine from within me, and that light starts to demand attention without me even saying a word. When I prioritize myself, I show everyone around me that I know my worth. And when I let go of clinging to others, I create a pull that draws them in. It's a shift, and I want you to try it too. When I take a step back, I'm not cutting anyone off, but I'm creating space. I'm focusing on what truly matters, my growth, my happiness, and my purpose. So why does this shift work? Why does stepping back and focusing on myself help me regain my value? It's simple. People value what they can't take for granted. If I'm always there, always giving, always available, it's easy for others to overlook me. But the moment I create some distance, they begin to see the importance of my presence. It's like a sunrise. Every day it rises, and we often take it for granted. But imagine if it didn't rise for a week. When it returns, it's appreciated more than ever. In relationships, when I'm always present, always giving, my efforts become expected. But when I step back, I created a space where my absence is felt, and that's when people truly start to see my value. Now, I'm not talking about revenge or manipulation here. This is about realigning my priorities and putting myself first. It's about sending a clear message. I know my worth, and I won't settle for anything less than the respect I deserve. Here's how I apply this shift. I step back with grace. I don't need to distance myself out of anger or bitterness. I do it out of self-respect. I give myself space to grow, reflect, and heal. I focus on my growth. I take time to invest in my own goals, passions, and well-being. I revisit things I've put aside, focus on my health, and work on my happiness. I stay calm and confident. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about trusting myself. I need to be like a mountain, unshaken by external forces. When I step back, I don't need to explain myself. My quiet confidence speaks for itself. I set boundaries. I've learned to set boundaries that protect my energy. If someone isn't treating me with respect, I let go. Walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. It's saying, I deserve better, and I'm not afraid to demand it. When I apply these steps, I take back my power. I show the world that I'm not someone to be undervalued or overlooked. I'm a force, and I'm building a life so full of value that anyone who fails to see it will simply be left behind. The journey starts with me, and it starts now. I've realized that my value isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. It's rooted in my belief in myself, my respect for my own boundaries, and my commitment to living a life that aligns with my highest potential. I don't need to convince anyone to see my light. Like the sun, I simply shine, and in time those who are ready to feel it will notice. So what do I do when someone doesn't value me? I don't chase, I don't beg, I don't shrink myself to fit their view. Instead, I stand taller. I step back with dignity. I focus inward on self-improvement. I set boundaries to protect my peace. The transformation begins the moment I take control. I honor myself and watch as everything around me begins to fall into place. The power is mine. I claim it.